Hello everyone, this is Cinema.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at My City, a legacy game from Reiner Knizia.
It plays from 2 to 4 players in about 30 minutes.
Per time we play it, not the whole legacy game.
Yeah.
That would be like the worst legacy game in the whole universe.
Really boring.
This is a game that many people, well, if you're not from Germany, then many people heard about it the first time when it was nominated for Spiel des Jahres.
Yeah.
And it often is that, like Quacks of Quedlinburg as well, from, the time, I don't remember if it last year or 2 years ago, but when it came out, then people were like, what is this game? Nobody heard about it, and then everybody wanted it because it was the Spiel des Jahres, and people wanted it. So this was a legacy game by Reiner Knizia, which is a pretty interesting thing, because Reiner Knizia has made many a game. Maybe over 2 games he has published. If you never heard of Reiner Knizia, then go hear about him, because he has made some cool games and some bad ones. When you make 700 games, that's probably gonna happen.
That's bound to happen, yeah.
But this is a legacy game.
Yes.
And we like legacy games, like our track record with like I love the fact of being a legacy game. I love the fact of I get to open stuff and things happen. I like that. I like the reveal, like Mr. Rob Rouse would say it from Blue Pay Pink Pink. I like the reveal. I like to find stuff, to see what happens, to do different stuff, to make happen things.
Yeah.
What do you feel about legacy games?
I really like legacy games. That does not mean that I like every legacy game. I feel like there's some legacy games that we've played that I haven't made that
more
much.
than one. Is there more than one? Is it more than Much Equal Legacy, which is like one of the worst experiences I've ever had?
What is it called? The Queen's something? Queen's...
Rise of Queen's Day.
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was fun, but it wasn't amazing.
No. But it was better because it was legacy.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
And even though I was not a huge fan of Clank, then I really liked Legacy. But this is almost going to be like a Legacy video, and you should probably make that. Is Legacy games good? We can make that as like a topic video. If you would like to see more ramblings about the topic of Legacy, let us know in the comments.
So to this game.
This game is My City. First of all, let's talk a bit about what you do in the game. We cannot show a lot, but we do have one board here that isn't used because we have played a 3-player game. The game, when it starts off, we're not going to talk about anything that happens throughout the game, just basically what you basically do in the beginning of the game, and then basically, because I said that like 16 times already, basically what we feel about the game.
Yeah.
It's going to be this review. So
basically.
no spoilers at all. Nothing about what happens. So it's so simple. Like in this game, you're going to have a deck of cards. You're going to draw one of the cards that's going to show a tile, and you have that tile. This is a blue tile that looks like this. And then you're going to place it. At the beginning of the game, you have to place it adjacent to the river, and then after that, you can place it adjacent to another building.
Yes.
And that's the game.
Yeah, so that means that when we turn that card over, everyone has to place the same piece. So that is a common deck, and you have all the buildings are your own. Mm-hmm. So there are 3 color buildings, and with different shapes, and you want to puzzle them in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. So there's different ways you get points and lose points. We're not going to go into any of that, in case we forgot something how it was in the beginning, and we say something about that. But that is basically what you're going to do. You're going to continue doing that. If there's a piece you don't want to play, you can take a negative point, because you start with some points. You can take a negative point, and then you're going to continue doing that until you either can't place anymore or the deck is run out. And then you're going to score points and lose points depending on where you are in the game, and that is the whole game.
Yes.
That is the whole thing.
First off, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, but it is the whole thing. It's like what you're doing is that you're placing these tiles. So that if you don't like the core element of that, you're not going to like this game.
You're not going to like it,
because that is what you're doing in this
game.
That
is the game.
So, first off, let's talk about one thing that it's important to me in legacy games, which is the story. And I love how they just understood that there isn't a story here.
Oh, yeah.
And not tried. But the strange thing is that they kind of tried in the beginning of the game. There was a couple of paragraphs that was like, and now this happens, and it was like two sentences of nothing.
Yeah, but I like that. If the story is super bland, it's just basically just a setting, and when you know that you have a setting, then don't use 4 pages of repeating the same things over and over again. I'm looking at all your stories. Here, just use 2 sentences. We want to play the game. We're happy.
But what I was actually going to say before you interrupted me was that this is like a minor spoilers if you don't want to hear it, but it's not a spoiler. Basically, it just stopped.
Yeah.
In the beginning, there was some stories, and that was kind of strange because like they tried to do it and it just wasn't there anymore. So they kind of like, I don't know if they just the guy who was writing the story was like not a job that one day.
Yeah, but I kind of get it.
But then it shouldn't just have been them nothing at all. Like, it was strange that they, and then it just happened.
But it wasn't like this huge story the first time and then blah blah blah.
Absolutely not.
It was a little bit and then very little.
No story. So if you're into the legacy games mostly for story, not gonna want to get this game.
Yeah.
So let's just quickly, before we go into like what we think about the game, the gameplay of this, it says 30 minutes on the box. We have played games that took 30 minutes, but most games have been shorter. Some games have been between, I'm not spoil anything, it's been like 10 to 30 minutes. So this is basically a purely mechanical game. Like, it is about getting the points, and of course it's like legacy stuff, so you will get points that go over the game, and points in each round, without talking more about that. So basically we cannot say much about the gameplay, but we can say what we think about the game, which is why we're here, to say what we think about My City and if you should check it out. So what do you think about My City? First of all, it's a 24 game campaign. We have played 22 games, so we have 2 games left, but that means that we have basically seen everything that is unlocked, because you get new stuff every 3 games. So what do you feel about My City?
You know this already, but I love this game. I really love it. I got addicted to it. I was just like only wanting to play My City. I didn't want to play any other games, and when
it's not true though, because we played a lot of other games. But
yeah, we played them, but I wanted to play My City.
Yeah.
And also, it with the involvement, I think it's nice because they introduce some new rules and stuff, and I like how it evolves, but it still has this core mechanic.
Yeah.
It makes me feel really clever when I build in a certain way and I figure stuff out. It makes me feel really angry when you beat me to a thing before I can do the thing. A lot of things. Finally, I can use things and it's right.
And it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, because you kind of say what it actually is. Yeah.
So I love it, and the game goes so fast that we've played like 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I think
then we played something else.
Okay. Like 3 to 4 we have played. I think that's enough. Like, I think after that it's fine to play something else.
I don't think it's enough. I want this to last forever.
I don't think you would have a lot of fun if you played it 24 times in a row.
No, I wouldn't.
I think that would have been too much.
I wouldn't. But it just gets me hooked. This wanting to play the next piece, thinking about what to do next, trying to have like a lot of things in your brain at once for which possible outcomes that you need to consider. This is really a game that I recommend.
Yes,
I'm jumping to like
but I love this. I think that the experience, as you say, like, I agree with everything you said. This game makes me happy. This game was a huge surprise. Didn't know anything about it basically before I got it. Like, I didn't know anything about the game, but it was a legacy game and Reiner Knizia, so 2 things that are usually good.
Yeah.
So I was like, and this is good. He has basically taken out the story element that usually are in legacy games, but have a great core mechanism. If you don't like that, you're not gonna like the game. And it's very good. The game is very good at, and this is not a spoiler because that's the whole point, it's very good at changing up what happens, changing up how you play, how you plan, how you need to play to score points and win the games. And there's a lot of things happening throughout the game, a lot of differences, a lot of changes that makes it feel unique, make it feel different and fresh, even though you are basically just taking a tile and placing it on your board and then doing that until the game ends. So I love this. It's not my favorite Legacy experience, because I also enjoy stories in Legacy, and it doesn't have that like epic storyline, but I think it shows something very, very good. It shows that you can have a Legacy game without having to have the story, because the story has always been a part of the Legacy experience. And I like that because it makes sense to have an evolving story. It makes sense to have like the campaign you go through, the story, the heroic mission you're on. But this is a bland Euro game. This is a beige Euro game with a puzzle game where now comes this building and he says hello. Like, it doesn't make sense to have like an epic storyline. You're building a city. That's what you're doing. It's called My City. My City is called My City in this game. I call it My City because I'm clever.
The Legacy style in this game, it reminds me of Fabled Fruit. You get what I mean? Because it just keeps evolving, but there's no story, kind of. And you can put it aside and then come back to it, because it doesn't really matter what happened before, because it's no story, so you can just ta-da! And it's very simple to get into.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
I just want to play it all at once. Though,
Yeah.
so I don't think that is going to happen. This is not my favorite Legacy game, but this is my favorite Reiner Knizia game.
Oh wow!
Easy.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Have you played many?
Some.
Two.
So some of them.
Two. You know.
I don't
two.
remember the names. He's basically made some games
All the
that
games.
I don't I even don't recognize that he's designer.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because he's just made a game
all
that
the
I
games.
like, but
Yeah.
I don't care about all the designers. But this is my favorite Reiner Knizia
Okay,
game.
cool. I love this. I think it's amazing. I think if you like puzzles, and if you like kind of like planning a puzzle, like I'm a huge fan of these. Huge fan of Polomino, Tetrimino games, and you know that. So if you are a fan of that mechanism and you like Legacy, I think you will love this game. I think it's like might be like the biggest surprise for me this year,
Yes.
like because it just came out of nowhere and just made me happy. So let's do like final thoughts and rating.
Yep. You want to start?
No, you can start.
Yeah, I can start. I'm in love with this game. I couldn't be happier. This is near to perfect. I'm unsure of the rating here because
You cannot rate like if you think like, oh, you can't play it again. That's not that.
No.
Rate the experience.
in terms of legacy, the only thing that I'm missing is a little more thematics and stuff. So I'm
And
going.
story, like the
Yeah.
story about how you build a city and how this piece says hello to the other piece. I'm missing
But
that.
I don't feel like I'm missing this in this game.
I don't mind.
need
I don't
this
care at all. Like
to have an amazing time playing this game. I'm like 8.59. I'm between there. I don't know. 8.7.
8.5 then.
Yes.
Okay. It's good to know your rating.
Woo.
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna rate it 8.5. I'm gonna rate it 8.5. I think it's an amazing game. I'm happy there's no story. That would have made the game worse probably because
Yeah.
story would have been horrible. Because
You don't need it.
I don't see any way this could have been a good story. So it's very interesting, and I hope that more games try to make like a legacy game where it's a mechanically evolving game, more like it's a city building game. This one, but like more of a mechanical legacy game. And I really enjoy that in this one, and I really hope to see more of this kind of style of legacy game. And that is the end of the review for My City by Reiner Knizia. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.